are seen in light, seen in light. Miracles are seen in light, seen in light. The body's eyes do not perceive the light. The body's eyes do not perceive the light. But I am not a body. What am I? I am not weak, but strong. Miracles are seen in light, seen in light. Miracles are seen in light, seen in light. Miracles are seen in light. Well, thank you all so much for joining me today in studying A Course in Miracles, published by Foundation for Inner Peace, here on Easter Sunday. Happy Easter, March the 31st of 2024. Lesson 91, Miracles are seen in light. It is important to remember that miracles and vision necessarily go together. This needs repeating and frequent repeating. Well, let's repeat it then. It is important to remember that miracles and vision, miracles, the awareness of love as a reality, miracles and vision necessarily go together. This needs repeating and frequent repeating. It is a central idea in your new thought system and the perception that it produces. The miracle is always there. Its presence is not caused by your vision. Its absence is not the result of your failure to see. It is only your awareness of miracles that is affected. You will see them in the light. You will not see them in the dark. The miracles are there all the time. You just only be able to see them in the light. To you, then, light is crucial. While you remain in darkness, the miracle remains unseen. Thus you are convinced it is not there. This follows from the premises from which the darkness comes. Denial of light leads to failure to perceive it. Failure to perceive light is to perceive darkness. The light is useless to you then, even though it is there. You cannot use it because its presence is unknown to you. And the seeming reality of the darkness makes the idea of light meaningless. To be told that what you do not see is there sounds like insanity. Again on that. To be told that what you do not see is there sounds like insanity. It is very difficult to become convinced that it is insanity not to see what is there, and to see what is not there instead. You do not doubt that the body's eyes can see. You do not doubt the images they show you are reality. Your faith lies in the darkness, not the light. How can this be reversed? Well, for you it is impossible. But you're not alone in this. We have the Holy Spirit to help us. Your efforts, however little they may be, have strong support. Did you but realize how great this strength, your doubts would vanish. Today we will devote ourselves to the attempt to let you feel this strength. When you have felt the strength in you, which makes all miracles within your easy reach, you will not doubt. The miracles your sense of weakness hides will leap into awareness as you feel the strength in you. 3 times today, set aside about 10 minutes for a quiet time in which you try to leave your weaknesses behind, or leave your weakness behind. This is accomplished very simply, as you instruct yourself that you are not a body. Faith goes to what you want, and you instruct your mind accordingly. Your will remains your teacher, and your will has all the strength to do what it desires. You can escape the body if you choose. You can experience the strength in you. Begin the longer practice periods with this statement of true cause and effect relationships. Miracles are seen in light. The body's eyes do not perceive the light. But I am not a body. What am I? Again on that. Miracles are seen in light. The body's eyes do not perceive the light. But I'm not a body. What am I? The question with which this statement ends is needed for our exercises today. What you think you are is a belief to be undone. What you think you are is a belief that needs to be undone. What you think you are is a belief to be undone. But what you really are must be revealed to you. The belief you are a body calls for correction, being a mistake. The truth of what you are calls on the strength in you to bring to your awareness what the mistake conceals. If you are not a body, what are you? You need to be aware of what the Holy Spirit uses to replace the image of a body in your mind. You need to feel something to put your faith in as you lift it from the body. You need a real experience of something else, something more solid and more sure, more worthy of your faith and really there. If you are not a body, what are you? Ask this in honesty and then devote several minutes to allowing your mistaken thoughts about your attributes to be corrected and their opposites to take their place. Say, for example, I am not weak but strong. I am not helpless but all-powerful. I am not limited but unlimited. I am not doubtful but certain. I am not an illusion but a reality. I cannot see in darkness but in light. In the second phase of the exercise period, try to experience these truths about yourself. Concentrate particularly on the experience of strength. Remember that all sense of weakness is associated with the belief you are a body, a belief that is mistaken and deserves no faith. Try to remove your faith from it, if only for a moment. You will be accustomed to keeping faith with the more worthy in you as we go along. Relax for the rest of the practice period, confident that your efforts, however meager, are fully supported by the strength of God and all His thoughts. It is from them, God's thoughts, it is from them that your real strength will come. It is through their strong support that you will feel the strength in you. They are united with you in this practice period, in which you share a purpose like their own. Theirs is the light in which you will see miracles, because their strength is yours. Their strength becomes your eyes, that you may see. 5 or 6 times an hour at reasonably regular intervals, remind yourself that miracles are seen in light. Also be sure to meet temptation with today's idea. This form would be helpful for this special purpose. So if you are tempted to look on a grievance, miracles are seen in light. Let me not close my eyes because of this. Okay, well, we'll come back and review that before we close and sing our song at the end. But let's go back and look at our text reading for today. And we're ready for, in chapter 11, God or the Ego, Roman numeral 4, the inheritance of God's Son. And while you're turning there, what's going on around the world? Well, it's Anesthesia Tech Day. I found all these on holidays and observances. Cesar Chavez Day. He was a civil rights activist born on this day in 1927. Died in 1993. Dance Marathon Day. A good day to dance, huh? Easter Sunday, we've already said. Eiffel Tower Day, and depending on where you measure the height from and whether or not you count the antenna on top, it's approximately 1,000 feet or 300 meters tall. Eiffel Tower. International Hug a Medievalist Day. Someone who studies medieval culture. International Transgender Day. National Baked Ham with Pineapple Day. National Bunsen Burner Day for all you scientists. National Clams on the Half Shell Day. National Crayon Day for all you kids and adults that like to play with crayons. National Farm Workers Day. I envision a society where we all are connected to the earth in a very substantial way. At least we grow a sizable amount of our own food. I think that's the kind of culture that is going to be sustainable on this planet, where people spend their day at home reading and studying and working with their hands, with nature. National Farm Workers Day. National Prom Day. All you ones that are going on prom, have a nice day. National She's Funny That Way. Transfer Day. And that was this day in 1917 when the Virgin Islands with treaty became transferred from Denmark to the United States. World Backup Day, back up your computer. And Tater Day. And I might mention it is definitely time to plant your potatoes. If you haven't planted them, it's not too late, but get them in the ground. Your Solanum tuberosums. The ones that I'm planting this year, I always like to plant Yukon Golds. They're quick and they grow up. They're ready to eat early. So are your Red Nolans. I'm planting them also. The Yukons don't last real good. I mean, they'll last for several weeks. If you leave them in the ground, they'll last all summer, actually, what I've found out. But anyway, your Yukon Golds are not a real long keeping potato like your Irish Cobbler or your Kennebec, particularly Kennebec. And anyway, those are the ones I'm growing this year. The Irish Cobbler, the Yukon Gold, the Red Noland, and the Irish and the Kennebec Irish Cobbler. Okay, and let's see, what else do we want to take a look out of Permaculture for Beginners by Carrie Mitchell. Give me just a minute here. And Permaculture for Beginners, she says in Chapter 5, Plant Placement, we're ready for the paragraph called Energy Cycling. Energy through your site should be used as much as possible. Output, or waste from one element can be input for another. Like leaves fall on the ground and are waste from the tree for that year, and yet they become the mulch for the next season. That's an energy recycling. Some examples would be water affected by gravity. After watering one area, it's ready to water another area. Or where large sun-loving plants will be used to shade understory plants or cool weather plants. Reduce your need to interfere by working with the natural energies to your own advantage. And then in edible landscaping, we're going to look at, we're starting the American persimmons. They've got a few listed. The ruby American persimmon, which is the Diospyros virginiana. Ruby has a very large fruit for an American persimmon, ripening here, that'd be in Zone 7 of Virginia, ripening here at the nursery from August to November. Leaves resist spotting in the fall, the prettiest ornamental persimmon in our orchard. Self-fertile, space 14-foot circles, zones 5 through 8. So it's, you need to leave about 14 foot for those, pretty good size. The inheritance of God's Son, and of course we want to keep in our mind all day today, miracles are seen in light. The inheritance of God's Son. Never forget that the sonship is your salvation, for the sonship is yourself. As God's creation, it is yours, and belonging to you, it is His. Yourself does not need salvation, but your mind needs to learn what salvation is. You are not saved from anything, but you are saved for glory. Glory is your inheritance given you by your Creator that you might extend it. Yet if you hate part of yourself, all your understanding is lost. because you're looking on what God created as yourself without love. And since what He created is part of Him, you are denying Him His place in His own altar. 2. Could you try to make God homeless and know that you are at home? Can the Son deny the Father without believing that the Father has denied Him? God's laws hold only for your protection, and they never hold in vain. What you experience when you deny your Father is still for your protection, for the power of your will cannot be lessened without the intervention of God against it, and any limitation on your power is not the will of God. Therefore, look only to the power that God gave to save you, remembering that it is yours because it is His, and join with your brothers in His peace. 3. Your peace lies in its limitlessness. Limit the peace you share, and yourself must be unknown to you. Okay, let's catch that. Be sure you leave with this idea. Your peace lies in its limitlessness. In other words, we don't want our peace to have any limits. We want it to go to everyone, in other words. Limit the peace you share. Limit the peace you share, and yourself must be unknown to you. Every altar to God is part of you, because the light He created is one with Him. Would you cut off a brother from the light that is yours? You would not do so if you realized that you can darken only your own mind. As you bring him back, so will you return. As you allow your peace to extend to your brothers and you have peace in your heart for all your brothers, then your awareness of yourself will return to you. As you bring him back, so will you return. That is the law of God for the protection of the wholeness of His Son. 4. Only you can deprive yourself of anything. Only you can deprive yourself of anything. Do not oppose this realization, for it is truly the beginning of the dawn of light. Key idea here again. Only you can deprive yourself of anything. Do not oppose this realization, for it is truly the beginning of the dawn of light. Oh, how well that works with our lesson today. Miracles are seen in light. And only we can oppose this. Only you can deprive yourself of anything. Do not oppose this realization, for it is truly the beginning of the dawn of light. Remember also that the denial of this simple fact takes many forms, and these you must learn to recognize and to oppose steadfastly, without exception. This is a crucial step in the reawakening. The beginning phases of this reversal are often quite painful, for as blame is withdrawn from without, there is a strong tendency to harbor it within. It is difficult at first to realize that this is exactly the same thing, for there is no distinction between within and without. If your brothers are part of you and you blame them for your deprivation, you're blaming yourself. And you cannot blame yourself without blaming them. That is why blame must be undone, not seen elsewhere. Lay it to yourself, and you cannot know yourself, for only the ego blames it all. Self-blame is therefore ego identification as much an ego defense as blaming others. You cannot enter God's presence if you attack His Son. When His Son lifts His voice in praise of His Creator, He will hear the voice for His Father. Yet the Creator cannot be praised without His Son, for their glory is shared, and they are glorified together. Christ is at God's altar, waiting to welcome His Son. But come wholly without condemnation, for otherwise you will believe that the door is barred and you cannot enter. The door is not barred, and it is impossible that you cannot enter the place where God would have you be. But love yourself with the love of Christ, for so does your Father love you. You can refuse to enter, but you cannot bar the door that Christ holds open. Come unto me, who hold it open for you. For while I live, it cannot be shut. And I live forever, he says. So the door can't be shut as long as Christ lives, and he says he lives forever. God is my life and yours, and nothing is denied by God to his Son. Paragraph 7. At God's altar, Christ waits for the restoration of himself in you. God knows his Son is wholly blameless as himself, and he is approached through the appreciation of his Son. You can approach God by appreciating your brothers and sisters. And if you have appreciation, well, then you'll certainly have peace. And that's the requirement. So have appreciation, have peace, and find yourself. Know God. At God's altar, Christ waits for the restoration of himself in you. God knows his Son is wholly blameless as himself, and he is approached through the appreciation of his Son. Christ waits for your acceptance of him as yourself, and of his wholeness as yours. For Christ is the Son of God who lives in his Creator and shines with his glory. Christ is the extension of the love and the loveliness of God, as perfect as his Creator and at peace with him. In the last paragraph, 8, blessed is the Son of God, whose radiance is of his Father, and whose glory he wills to share as his Father shares it with him. There is no condemnation in the Son, for there is no condemnation in the Father. Sharing the perfect love of the Father, the Son must share what belongs to him, for otherwise he will not know the Father or the Son. Peace be unto you who rest in God, and in whom the whole sonship rests. Okay, now let's go back and look at our lesson. And before we close, let's just review quickly what we're gonna do in our practice period. 3 times today, set about 10 minutes for a quiet time in which you try to leave your weakness behind. Begin the longer practice period with this statement of true cause and effect relationships. Miracles are seen in light. The body's eyes do not perceive the light, but I'm not a body. What am I? If you're not a body, what are you? You need to be aware of what the Holy Spirit uses to replace the image of a body in your mind. If you're not a body, what are you? Ask this in honesty and then devote several minutes to allowing your mistaken thoughts about your attributes to be corrected and their opposites to take their place. Say, for example, I'm not weak but strong. I'm not helpless but powerful. I'm not limited but unlimited. I'm not doubtful but certain. I'm not an illusion but a reality. I cannot see in darkness but in light. And then in the second phase of the exercise period, try to experience these truths about yourself. Concentrate particularly on the experience of strength. Remember that all sense of weakness is associated with the belief you are a body, a belief that is mistaken and deserves no faith. Try to remove your faith from it, if only for a moment. Relax for the rest of the practice period, confident that your efforts, however meager, are fully supported by the strength of God and all his thoughts. And then after your 3 10-minute practice periods, tell yourself 5 or 6 times an hour at reasonably regular intervals that miracles are seen in light. Also be sure to meet temptation with this idea. Here would be a good form. Miracles are seen in light. Let me not close my eyes because of this. Okay. Well, how much our time? Are we looking okay? Yeah, we're a little. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Be sure to do your 3 10-minute practice periods, as well as, he says, about every 10 minutes throughout the day. Tell yourself miracles are seen in light, and use it if you're tempted to hold a grievance against anyone. In that case, say miracles are seen in light. I will not close my eyes because of this today. Miracles are seen in light, seen in light. Miracles are seen in light, seen in light. The body's eyes do not perceive the light, but I am not a body. What am I? But I am not a body. What am I? I am not weak, but strong. I am not helpless, but how powerful. I am not helpless, but all powerful. I am not limited, but unlimited. I am not doubtful, but certain. I am not an illusion, but a reality. I am not an illusion, but a reality. I cannot see in darkness, but in light. Miracles are seen. Miracles are seen in light. Miracles are seen, seen in light. Let me not close my eyes today. And if you're tempted, say, let me not close my eyes because of this. Miracles are seen. Miracles are seen in light. Miracles are seen, seen in light. Miracles are seen. Miracles are seen in light. Miracles are seen in light. Tell yourself that throughout the day. Every 10 minutes, he says, over and over. You don't have to set your clock. I've done it before. You might annoy people around you having your clock beeping every 10 minutes. But if it helps you, man, use technology for your ascension, for your awakening, for your seeing the light. Miracles are seen in light. The body's eyes do not perceive the light, but I am not a body. What am I? And let the Holy Spirit show you your reality, your transcendent being that survives death. It doesn't even know what death is. Miracles are seen in light. And our Aramaic word is Shlamaa. Spoken in Iraq and Iran, Syria and Turkey. It's also Assyrian. So we're going to use it tomorrow, probably. I was going to use it, but we got Aramaic and Assyrian. Shlamaa. Miracles are seen in light. Shlamaa.